right, Lauren, you're good to go.
Thank you much. All right, thank you. Everything's up and running. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the September Mineland Reclamation Board. I'm going to go ahead and do a short roll call with our previous members, but I'm very excited because I think we have some new members. Let's see, Ms. Wareham.
Here.
Morning. Mr. Singletary.
Here.
Morning, Mr. Mock.
Present.
Hello, and new members, if we could go ahead and do some introductions, I'd love to meet you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Patrick Ortiz. I live in Monte Vista, Colorado. I work for a nonprofit based in Alamosa called San Luis Valley Great Outdoors. I grew up here in the San Luis Valley, and I'm excited to learn a ton and bring a voice of hopefully some balanced views of my background is in trails and trail development, trail maintenance. So mining is important, but also protecting resources are important. So excited to join y'all.
Great, wonderful to meet you.
I'm Anthony Lobato, Center, Colorado, down in the San Luis Valley. I've been a resident of the valley my whole life. My family's been here a while. Cow-calf producer, and I'm excited to be aboard.
Awesome, thank you for joining.
Okay, finally unmute. I'm Jill Nelson. I am 25 years native to Colorado. I am a South Dakotan, grew up on a farm. I am a mining engineer by early career and training. I now have a company called Brooks & Nelson that works in the mining arena and helps people find people. I do have a background in permitting, remediation, and reclamation. So I'm passionate about keeping our lands better than ever.
Wonderful, terrific. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I think that's all of our new members. Please correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm seeing some head shakes and thumbs up. All right, great. Well, wonderful to meet you. Thank you for being a part of this. Looking forward to working with all of you. First matter of business here, we need to approve the August 2021 minutes. Could I please have a motion on that?
I move.
In a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
Any opposed? Hearing none. The August 21 summary minutes are approved. It sounds like our next item has changed just a tiny bit. So we will actually have one continuance this month of item number 4, our consent agenda for file number M-2019-041. So that will move into continuances. Could I please have a motion to approve that as our new continuance?
Motion to approve is amended.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 So any approved, any opposed? Hearing none, we're going to move our consent agenda to our continuance for next month. All right, next item is the Executive Director Office report, please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Director Brannon, Tim Mock, Deputy Director for the Department of Natural Resources. A couple of updates here, but first I want to welcome, and also on behalf of Executive Director Dan Gibbs, welcome our new board members, Patrick, Jill, and Anthony. I certainly look forward to working with you, and we for service to the state. Couple of updates here. Our 21-22 budget is now well underway. The DNR's total appropriated operating budget, including the long bill and special bills, is $334.1 million, and that includes about 1,500 full-time employees. It's broken down with $37.3 million in general fund, $262.3 million in cash funds, and $26.9 million in federal funds. To date, DNR has received a total investment of $130 million in state stimulus funds, primarily focused in three major areas: $65 million for wildlife mitigation, recovery, and restoration, $45 million for public lands and outdoor recreation, and $20 million for water plan implementation. We are continuing to work with the governor's office on potential allocation of American Rescue Plan Act federal stimulus dollars, as well as analyzing the new federal bipartisan infrastructure package that is being considered in Congress. Couple of staffing updates in the executive director's office. We are happy to announce at the beginning of the month that Executive Director Gibbs appointed DNR's Human Resources Director, Wendy Padilla, to be our new Chief Operating Officer for the department. Wendy was born and raised west of Trinidad and brings exceptional experience to the position, and having served for the department for 19 years, including serving as the Northeast Deputy Regional Manager for Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Regarding forest health here, as you all know, Senate Bill 258 set up a new program within the Department of Natural Resources known as the Wildfire Mitigation Capacity Development Fund. And that included 2 new staff hires to help run that grant program that will be providing about $7.4 million for workforce development, as well as $8.5 million for project planning and implementation. So we're happy to have that program now getting up and underway. Progress continues to be made on the implementation of Proposition 114, a ballot initiative directing Colorado Parks and Wildlife Commission to develop a plan to reintroduce gray wolves in Colorado west of the Continental Divide. We now have our working groups, that is the technical working group and the stakeholder advisory group, now up and running. Today is actually the 4th SAG meeting, stakeholder advisory group meeting that is being conducted right now in Grand Junction. Colorado Geographic Naming Board met last Thursday. A lot of you probably heard this already on the news, but the Naming Board recommended renaming Squaw Mountain in Clear Creek County to Mount Mestahead Mountain. And so that recommendation is being forwarded to the governor for consideration to then be forwarded on to the United States Board of Geographic Names, who has the ultimate authority in approving names on geographic places. And then State Land Board staff presented to commissioners a framework plan for renewable energy development on Trustland, which incorporated feedback and data from other state, federal, and industry leaders. The plan identifies Trustland acres that are most preferable for solar development, as well as land properties least preferable based on existing uses, sun asset availability, nearby transmission capabilities, land ecosystem attributes, and other factors. And with that, Madam Chair, I conclude my report and am happy to respond to any questions. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. One other thing here. I apologize, but today I'm going to have to cut out here a little bit earlier, at least step away. We're in the middle of budget week here and have a meeting with OSPB. I'm down here at Parks and Wildlife right now. So with that, I saw John.
Yeah, Tim, I've noticed some comment lately regarding the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service talking about relisting the wolf. Were that the case, what would that do to our program? What effect would it have?
Right now, we're not anticipating any real effect. We are kind of waiting to see what that looks like. It may, have some impacts in terms of proceeding with a 10J or some other type of status when we put that on the ground. But we have been in, I know Parks and Wildlife have been in touch with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and continuing to kind of figure exactly what that means. But for our planning purposes right now, that's all moving forward just as it was before the consideration. And I'll keep you posted on any developments.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Monk? All right, well, thanks. Sounds like lots of good work is going on, and lots of work is going on. So best of luck with all of that. All righty, let's move into our division director report, please.
Good morning, Ginny Brannon, Division Director. Good to see everybody. A hearty welcome to our new board members. You have no idea how excited we are to see you and to have you on the board. I was all set to introduce you, but nobody can introduce you better than yourselves. So I just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Really, really happy. So we're going to have a kind of an easy one today, but then we'll get into probably a little bit more as the fall continues, and then eventually into rulemaking. So what I want to tell you about is there's a Cssga, Colorado Stone Sand and Gravel Association, Lunch and Learn on Wednesday, October 27th. This is a popular event. We always go. But they're meeting in the Martin Marietta office, the Martin Marietta Denver West office. And that office has strict protocols on numbers. So we have to keep our numbers down to 8. Then that includes board and staff. So, you know, keeping in mind the fact that we've got some, you know, some probably difficult hearings coming up on queries. Staff has seen the sites. We can go anytime. We're there inspecting them, etc. Really encourage the board to go. But we do need numbers in terms of who would like to do that. It's going to start at 11 a.m. with a lunch and learn. They're going to do an industry overview. And then at 12:30, you're going to depart for Martin Marietta's ag facilities. That's going to be their tour of their quarry, their asphalt plant, and their concrete batch plant. By the way, all of which staff is already seen. All the more reason for board to go before us. And then they are cutting the tour a little bit shorter this year. And so they're planning on returning to the office at 2 o'clock to ride back at Martin Marietta's Denver West office. So the hard hats, vests, safety glasses will be available for you guys. Steel-toed shoes are optional. So obviously no open-toed shoes, obviously no heels, we know this. But anyway, just really encourage you, if you could reach out to Cammie, if you would like to go, then we can keep track of the numbers. And then we can backfill with staff depending on your numbers. And I don't know, it's October 27th, so it's not till the end of October. Maybe you'll let us know in a week or two if that's possible, if you want to go. And then we'll send out a reminder as well, and you know, we'll kind of take the reins on it. But anyway, it's a fun day. Like I said, ever since I've been division director, I've gone to this thing. Well, except during COVID when they didn't have it. But it's just a fun day. It really is. And a lot of good people. So please do let Cammie know if you'd like to go as soon as you can. That would be great. And then the only other thing I have is the National Association of Abandoned Mineland Programs, a national association that deals with abandoned mines, and our very own Jeff Graves has been elected president. So there we have it. On that note, I will conclude unless you guys have questions or comments.
Great. Any questions for Ms. Brannon? Okay, no questions on my end, but congratulations to Jeff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very well-deserved position there. That's awesome. All righty. Well, thanks, everyone. Let's move into our first board action of the day for file number M-2019-058. If you plan to testify in this hearing, could you please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth? All right, thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Eric Scott, and I'll be presenting for the division on this item. And the purpose for this hearing is for the board to determine whether an extension of the 365-day deadline for submitting the required performance and financial warranties is warranted. This is for a permit that was approved at the division level, but has not yet been issued because the performance and financial warranties have not been submitted yet. And we'll go back to the beginning. All this material is in your board packet if you would like to review it in more detail. The Colorado Sanding Company, Keensburg number 2 mine, which is a proposed 2,926 acre sand mine, was approved at the division staff level on June 12th, 2020. And the financial warranty was set at that time at $4.9 million. And in accordance with the rule, these warranties are due within 365 days of the date of approval. That's required by Rule 4.1, Parent 2. The decision letter for that approval, dated June 16, 2020, is in the board packet. The division did not receive those materials. Therefore, on July 9, 2021, this last July, the division sent out a notice of past due financial warranty to the applicant. The applicant responded to the division. I believe that letter was dated July 15, also in your packet, and they requested an extension for the deadline for submittal of performance and financial warranties for the previously approved permit. And the applicant has requested an additional 365 days. As you're well aware, things over the last couple of years have not gone necessarily according to plan. So as part of that extension request, the applicant is required to renotice everyone for that previously approved permit in accordance with Rule 1.6. And proof of that renotice is also included in your board packet. No objections or comments have been received by the division in association with those new notices within the public comment period or to date. So that's where we are right now. And I believe we have some representatives from the permittee here to address the board. So I will turn it over to them.
Thanks, Eric. Hi, this is David Patterson, and I have with me here my colleague, Brady Reese. Hey guys, thanks for including us and making the time, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Like Eric said, we're a Colorado Sand Company and part of a parent organization called Capital Sand, which has operations in the aggregates businesses in Missouri and Texas and a couple other states. Also in the frac sand industry as well. And so we are attempting to build a frac sand operation there in Weld County and have everything teed up pretty much. I mean, we were, as Eric said, running along schedule until COVID-19 happened and pretty much disrupted all of our plans and delayed us in excess of a year. Otherwise, I think we would have been building this thing by now. Had posted the bond and had been building it, but we got delayed and have been working hard to get the project going, and it's looking pretty good so far. And we just need a little bit more time. I don't know if it would be worth talking a bit about kind of what the operation is going to do and kind of where it is, or what do you think, Eric?
I think I would leave it up to the board if they have questions they would like to have answered. Otherwise, or if they have any questions about the nature of the request. Otherwise, I think we can turn it over to them at this point.
Nice to ask. Could you just briefly give us your, and you don't need to go into any detail, what you intend to do and your timeline and how big it is? I mean, it's a pretty good sized operation. I'd just kind of like to know what your thoughts are and what direction you're taking.
Yeah, sure. So our timeline is we're requesting 365 days, but we don't believe we're going to need that. We're going to break ground. Our anticipated break ground is before the end of the year. So we have customer contracts lined up and the necessary subcontractors and pretty much the whole project lined up, ready to go. And so I don't believe we need the 365 days. We asked for that just because, if things happen and we need a little more leniency, we would appreciate it. So the operation is, it's a sand, basically. I mean, it's called mining, I guess, but it's really just scooping sand, which is basically, 12 to 18 inches off of the surface, and then processing that sand with water, washing the clays and then, the natural organics materials out of it, sorting it. So, removing the larger size sand and removing the very fine sand and taking just what's in the middle, and drying it and then loading it into trucks. That's essentially the whole operation. It'll provide roughly, I think, 65 or 70 full-time personnel to work on site in shifts of 15 or so individuals at any one point in time on the site. It's located on the Gutterson Ranch, if you know where that is. That's just north of the Keensburg, town of Keensburg there on east of Hudson, about 2 miles north of the town on a county road, 59. It'll operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Rain or shine, and hopefully for a long time.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions at this point? Okay, just for my own clarity, you would need to post the financial warranty before breaking ground, correct? Yes, okay, many head nods. Okay, so you mentioned earlier you have clients lined up, and obviously it sounds like you have your operations pretty well nailed down. Are you pretty confident then that you'll be able to post that and I mean, given any unforeseen circumstances, kind of keep moving on that timeline you suggested?
Yes, we are. We are confident of that. The counterparties backing the operation are substantial, and securing the bonding support. We've already run that down and had extensive conversations and gotten the pricing and the structure and the legal language required to backstop that bond is set and ready to go. So we're very confident, yes, that we'll be able to post that bond.
Great. Well, thank you for doing all that due diligence there. Okay. Well, if there are no more board comments or questions, I think we can go ahead and close deliberations here and make a motion. Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and close. And may I please have a motion from the board?
So moved.
All right, thank you. I think we need a little bit more clarity. So let's just say, could you please expand on your motion of what you are approving, please?
Approved to end deliberation.
All right. Ms. Wareham or Mr. Singletary, could you expand on that just a little bit and give us a
Sure. Per Mr. Ortiz, I also moved that in file M-2019-58 Colorado Sand and Gravel Company, that we extend the deadline for performance and financial warranty submission, they requested 365 days.
And let's say from the date of this hearing.
Yes, from, well, either from the date of this hearing or from a board order, depending on what is most administratively, correct, if there's a preference.
Let's go with the date of the board order, and that gives a little bit more flexibility.
Sure, from 365 days from the date of the board order.
Okay, thank you. Could I please get a second?
Second.
Thank you. So moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, Mr. Singletary. Hold on, you're on mute. 1 second. Can you unmute yourself, John? Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, there we go.
There we
No,
go.
just I'm muted. I would have helped you, but I couldn't talk, so.
Oh, no worries. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we've moved and seconded, approved. All in favor have said aye. Let's say any opposed. Okay. Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everybody. There's an open invitation to come out and visit the thing once we get up and running. We'll give you a hard hat and some steel-toed shoes if you don't have them.
Great. Thank you. We always appreciate that.
Thanks. Eric, do you think Brady and I are okay to sign off at this juncture, or would you like us to stick on?
I believe at this point, we are all done.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to discussion item number 6 for file number M-1999-042. I don't believe this is a true testimony, so I don't think we need to swear anyone in here. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Chuck.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be an update on the litigation, particularly if it's just coming from staff. Fine.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. Yes. Please, if staff could give us an update on how this is going.
Sorry, this is Scott Schultz, counsel for DRMS. Is this the White Banks matter?
This is for Avalanche Creek, Marble, and Alabaster.
Thank you. I see Mr. Congdon has also joined us. It's my understanding that the Forest Service and Mr. Congdon are still actively in litigation. I don't know if we need to dive too deep in this one. There is a lot of material in the board packet. But given that Mr. Congdon and the Forest Service are still trying to sort things out and there is active litigation, I think it would be appropriate to probably continue this till February of 2022. I think we had hopes that this would be resolved quickly, but at this time it really is out of our hands, and it's with the Forest Service. And I'm open to any questions, and if Mr. Congdon wants to provide any updates, I think he's with us as well.
Yeah, this is Robert. I just want to let you know I met with Kevin Warner a couple days ago, and I would say we had pretty productive discussions about moving forward with this. They kept requesting a new plan of operations. The standoff was that we already have one. We haven't given up the rights that we have one. We've agreed to disagree on that point, but we did submit a supplemental plan that they have accepted and is under review right now. It's basically the same plan we had before, so it's a little bit redundant, but that's what they want. And Kevin said they are going through it right now, and he said I asked if they would hold it to the 228.4 regs, which says they have 60 days to approve the plan, and he said his intention is to have this done in 60 days. So I think February be more than we need, hopefully, but I think we're going to get a resolution to this unfortunate situation.
Great.
Mr. Congdon, would you prefer January 2022?
Pardon?
Would you prefer that this be continued till January of 2022 instead of February?
Either or, it doesn't matter. I mean, as soon as it's resolved, I will contact you immediately to let you know and get.
That sounds good. I would just suggest we stick with February, and if something gets resolved before, we can move it up on.
Okay.
Sure.
Thanks.
That's easy enough. Okay. Well, all right. I think all we needed to do was that update. So I appreciate both of you taking the time today, and I appreciate your time, Mr. Cogden.
Thank you.
Glad to hear that's moving forward. Fingers crossed. Things keep moving in the right direction, and keep having open lines of communication there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All righty, folks. So let's move on to item number 7. An enforcement hearing for Colorado Farms LLC, file number M-1988-052. If you plan to testify, could you please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Take it away.
Good morning. This is Amy Eschberger with the division. Give me just a second. I'm trying to share my screen here. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
All right.
Hey, Lauren, before we get started, do you want to swear everyone in?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I think I tried to do that. Let's do it one more time. If you plan to testify in this hearing, could you please raise your right hand? Great, thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is Amy Eschberger with Division, and this is an enforcement hearing for the Big R Pit, permit number M-1988-052. The operator is Colorado Farms LLC. This item is for consideration of a violation, civil penalty, cease and desist order, and corrective actions for failure to post the additional required financial warranty within 60 days of the date of notice of the adjustment. And this is a 110 construction materials operation. It's located in Elbert County, approximately 13 miles north of Elizabeth. The approved permit area is 9.9 acres. They mine sand and gravel. The land is owned by the operator, and the approved post-mine land use is pasture land and or general agriculture. And the currently held financial warranty is $18,642, which is not considered adequate. So slide 3 shows just the general location of the Big R Pit, and it's approximately 13 miles north of Elizabeth, indicated with the yellow star. And it's just east of Running Creek. Slide 4 shows the approved permit area. It's 9.9 acres, and it's outlined in red on this map. It's a little busy, so the 9.9 acre is outlined in red. And just to give you a little bit of the operation summary, it is an open pit mine operation. No groundwater is exposed in this operation. The site is divided by an interior road into 2 pit areas, the north and south. The south pit was mined first in the 90s through 2015, and the north pit was mined 2010 through 2015. And the maximum mining depth was 25 feet. The operator salvaged topsoil. It was to be stored along the perimeter of the pit for reclamation. No overburden was expected for this operation, and no processing occurred on site. The approved post-mine land use, as I said earlier, was pasture land and or general agriculture. And all disturbed slopes were to be graded at 3:1 or flatter. Any compacted areas such as storage areas, pit floor, or temporary roads would be ripped, and topsoil would be replaced at an average depth of 6 inches. And industrial hemp would be planted at 5-foot spacing per technical revision 1, which was approved in 2019. And the existing access road will remain on the site. So current site conditions are on slide 7. So the north pit was backfilled in 2014, 2015, but the division has no evidence that this area was ever retopsoiled or seeded. There is a large topsoil stockpile that remains along the northern permit boundary, and I'll show you that here in just a second. The vegetative cover of the north pit currently consists mainly of weeds, not a lot of grass at this point. The south pit has not been backfilled. There are high walls approximately 15 feet in height with 1-to-1 slopes, and there is a small topsoil stockpile in that area. And there's a small material pile that remains near the south pit, which can be used for reclamation for backfill. And there is some inert material stored on site that can also be used for reclamation if needed. The vegetative cover of the south pit currently consists of some volunteer grasses and also weeds. And slide 8 just shows you a Google Earth image of the site. So the permit area is outlined in red, and the green outlines are the topsoil stockpiles. So you can see the large pile on the north end, and there's a small one on the south end of the site. And then the purple outline is the small material stockpile. And the yellow outline is the approximate location of the high walls. As you can see on the south end, you have a pretty irregular high wall there. And so in our calculation, we included using some of that material to backfill that wall. So the material is present on site to backfill. So slide 9 starts with a chronology of events. So February 3rd, DRMS conducted a site inspection. We found the currently held financial warranty is not adequate to reclaim the site in accordance with the approved plan. On February 5th, the division sent the operator the inspection report, which included the bond estimate, and the operator had 60 days to submit any comments on the bond estimate or provide evidence demonstrating that reclamation work had been completed. On April 6th, the operator submitted a corrective action response indicating that they accepted the bond estimate provided and they intended to submit the required amount by the 60-day deadline. On April 20th, the division sent a notice of financial warranty increase, SI2, which was included in the board packet. And this was for a total of $51,632. This was an increase of $32,990 from the currently held financial warranty. And the additional financial warranty was due within 60 days by June 19th of this year. The division did not receive any financial warranty documents from the operator by that deadline. On July 1st, the division sent out a notice of past due financial warranty increase, giving the operator an extended deadline to submit the past due additional required financial warranty. And the new deadline was July 23rd. And this notice was also included with the packet. No documents were received by this deadline. And on August 12th, the division sent out reason to believe a violation exists and notice of board hearing letter for failure to post the additional required financial warranty. And I just wanted to point out that the division did throughout this period reach out to the operator numerous times via email, voicemail. And when we did get a response, it was, hey, we sent something, I can't give you a tracking number. And we never did receive anything by the state, but I just wanted the board to know that we did reach out to them numerous times and there was some contact along the way. On September 8th, the division informed the operator via email that the hearing would be held virtually rather than in person, and that they needed to reach out to the board secretary to get a Zoom password. So slide 11, I just have a few slides here with some inspection photos, and these photos are in the inspection report that's included with the board packet, but I just wanted to show a few just, I know visual is always better. This is a small site, but photo 4 is the first photo. You're looking southeast across the eastern pit wall there. And then photo 5 shows another photo of the northern pit. And photo 7 is looking south across that. I'm sorry, I said north pit, I meant south pit. And then photo 9 is also the south pit, and that's that large high wall there in the background on photo 9. And photo 10 is just a close-up of that high wall again, showing you it's pretty irregular. And photo 11 is looking across that pit. You can see a lot of weeds, not a lot of grasses growing. Photo 12 is the small material stockpile. And then photo 13 shows the large topsoil stockpile on the northern edge of the site. So this is looking across the north pit area, which is pretty weedy. Not very many grasses growing. So staff recommendation starts on slide 15, and the division is asking that the board find the operator in violation of CRS 34-32.5, 117, parent 4, parent C, parent 2, and rule 4.2.1, parent 2, for failure to post the additional required financial warranty within 60 days of the date of notice of the adjustment. Staff recommends the board issue a cease and desist order pursuant to CRS 34-32.5-124, parent 2, prohibiting any further activities on the affected lands except those activities approved by the division in writing as necessary to comply with the conditions of a board order, prevent damage to offsite areas, complete reclamation, or to protect public health and safety until the corrective actions have been resolved to the satisfaction of the division. Staff recommends the board require the operator to submit an amendment to the current financial warranty for the additional required amount of $32,990 or a new financial warranty reflecting the increase to a total of $51,632 within 30 days of the effective date of the board order. And as for civil penalties, pursuant to CRS 34-32.5-124, parent 7, a person who violates any provision of a permit issued under this article shall be subject to a civil penalty of not less than $100 per day, nor more than $1,000 per day for each day during which such violation occurs. In this matter, the board may find 61 days of violation from the July 23rd deadline to today's hearing, resulting in a civil penalty range of not less than $6,100 and not more than $61,000. Staff recommends that the board find the operator in violation for 61 days and assess a civil penalty of $100 per day for a total civil penalty of $6,100, with all but $500 suspended if the operator complies with the corrective actions. And I won't read the last of this unless you guys need me to do that. And that concludes my presentation. And I just wanted to note that the board presentation form was not included in the packet, and I apologize for that. So I do have the form available here, and I'll add it on the drive later. If the board needs to read it, just let me know if you need me to zoom in more or anything like that. So, and does the board have any questions?
Great, thank you.
Oh, sorry, Lauren.
No, go ahead.
So back in February, they did respond that they thought that this increase was okay, but then you've had some communication, but it's not as much as you had back in February.
Right, and they have had some staff changes, but they did indicate initially that they accepted the bond, they would submit the bond. And since then, we just haven't received anything. They said a couple of times, we mailed it, just no tracking number was provided, and then we never received anything. So yeah, you're right.
Okay, and then following up on that, I guess I was a little confused by the chronology. They understood the increase was for that $32,000 when they said yes, they accepted that additional warranty. Correct. That's my understanding. They were forwarded the bond estimate, and the amount was in the inspection report. And one of the operator staff I spoke with, they were full aware of the amount. Thank you. And just to confirm, no one from the operator is here today at the hearing. So
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Is the operation operable, or is it operating?
It is not operating at this time. it's, there's a little history with the site, but the former permittee passed away a couple of years ago, and the new landowner took over the permit, and so it hasn't been mined since that time.
Okay, and the current operator is aware of the reclamation plan, and but it doesn't sound like they intend to follow through on that, and that's kind of why the division is stepping in. Or can you bring me up to speed on where reclamation is?
Sure. So yeah, they have the north pit. Just it needs to be retopsoiled and seeded, and it was never retopsoiled. There's a huge stockpile there, and it just was never used. And then, but it has been mined and backfilled, so they're done with the north pit. They just need to retopsoil and seed it. The south pit, the high walls need to be graded to 3:1, and then the area needs to be retopsoiled. And I'm sorry, I'm saying seeded, but actually their current revegetation plan is planting hemp in accordance with their agricultural post-mine land use. And that's, so that's the reclamation that remains. And so when I went out and did an inspection, it was actually at the operator's request. They wanted to know, kind of where they stood on reclamation and what the bond count, So I redid the bond, reevaluated it. That was the number I came out with. And so as we typically do, we'll provide that bond estimate to them in the report. And we'll also give them a chance just to go ahead and complete some of that work and just get that bond reduced. And we're willing to work with the operator on that. And they, in talking with them during that time, and I think it said in their response as well that they didn't want to do the reclamation at that point because they thought they would mine the site later this year. And so they were just going to go with the bond increase on it. So,
Madam Chair, this is Michael Cunningham with the division. Just to add on to Amy's response, she mentioned the permit was transferred several years ago. And so when we go through that permit transfer, the successor operator acknowledges that they have access to the full mining and reclamation plan, all of the materials that are needed there. So, and certainly if there's any question about that, we're always happy to assist them and point them to those permit documents.
Out of curiosity, I noticed on the photo, one of the photos, is that a agricultural operation on the east side? Is that owned by the operator? Or is that?
I believe the operator does own land to the west. You see some buildings.
Right. Is that to the west? It looks east to me.
Okay, let me pull up a map. Sorry. So you're saying to the east of the permit area?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's part of the operator has a shop and some other buildings that aren't related to this mine operation. Right. And there's also, I should point out, a really large permit just to the north. So this one abuts to that permit, and it's owned by a different operator. But this operator actually owns the land to the north as well, but it's permitted by somebody else. But that shop and those buildings and the piles, that's not associated with this permit area or this mine operation.
And then final question is the operator kind of aware of the word is consequences, I guess, associated with not being able or not providing this additional financial warranty? Really, I mean, the cease and desist order. You mentioned they're thinking about mining later this year, but with the cease and desist in place, that won't be an option until they're able to post that warranty.
Well, they were provided copies of all these documents, and so I have to assume that they are. Like I said, I've tried to reach out to them a few times. It's been a little difficult. I don't get a lot of returned calls or emails. So the communication, honestly, has been a little spotty. But I have to assume that they are aware. I mean, they did receive the letter. He called me immediately when he got the RTB letter. And so, I have to assume that he is fully aware.
Okay. Okay, well, good. I'm glad there's been communication since they received that letter, and that's good faith effort's been made. Okay. Any other questions for the division at this time? Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and close deliberation. If you wouldn't mind putting those recommendations back up, I think that's very helpful. Thank you.
And let me know if you need me to scroll down a little bit.
We will. Thank you. All righty. May I please have a motion from the board?
I wonder if we should discuss briefly the penalty. Maybe we need to utilize the penalty as a, I think we need to get their attention. It appears to me that they're pretty knowledgeable, you know, in the gravel business, since they own the land north of it and they live next to it or have an operation. Maybe, you know, certainly we would like not to hurt them, but I think we need to get their attention, and maybe we do that some way. And I would, Nell, if you would, you know, maybe make that motion sometime, because I don't have the paperwork here to read that off, but if we could discuss what would be an adequate penalty and some way, you know, some incentive we could put in there to make sure maybe we can grab their attention and get them back on course. If that makes sense.
So you're recommending something larger than 6,100?
Well,
Because-
you know, I think the 6,100, but you know, maybe I don't, you know, what I'm saying is if they get it done within a period of time that we think is adequate, 30, 60 days, whatever, then, you know, that penalty can be something less than that, or we need to catch their attention. I think that's my thought.
Yeah, so currently they're recommending 6,100 with all but 500 suspended if it is
And is
done
that
within
good
30
for
days.
you guys? Do you think? Yeah, you know, I mean, 6,100, we could make it more than that. Is that something the board chooses to look toward? I mean, it's kind of too bad that they aren't responding, because I think we're really trying to work, you know, or work something out with them, and maybe this is adequate. I mean, I'm just saying that somehow it's got to click that they need to do something. At least make a phone call.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I hear what you're saying, John. I find it interesting that back in February, they seemed fairly responsive
Right.
to, you know, a $30,000 increase. They didn't seem to balk at that. So there must be something else going on there, maybe, because it doesn't sound like there was a lot of pushback initially to that.
Right, I agree. I don't know, this is probably adequate. You know, I hopefully it'll catch their attention and we can get in a place where we can make it work.
So are you comfortable, John, if I make a motion?
I am, absolutely. If you wouldn't mind doing that.
Yep. So in the matter of permit M-1988-052 Big R Pit Colorado Farms LLC, I move we find the operator in violation of CRS 3432.5, 117, parent 4, parent C, parent 2, and rule 4.2.1, parent 2, failure to post the additional required financial warranty within 60 days of the notice of adjustment. Further, we issue a cease and desist order pursuant to CRS 3432.5, 124, parent 2, prohibiting further activities on the affected lands except those activities approved by the division in writing as necessary to comply with the conditions of the board order, prevent damage to offsite areas, complete reclamation, or to protect public health and safety until corrective actions have been resolved to the satisfaction of the division. And that we require the operator to submit an amendment to the current financial warranty for the additional required amount of $32,990 or a new financial warranty reflecting the increase for a total of $51,632 within 30 days of the effective date of the board order. Pursuant to CRS 3432.5, 124, parent 7, we find the operator in violation of 61 days and assess a civil penalty of $100 a day for total civil penalty of $6,100, with all but 500 of that suspended if the operator complies with those corrective actions. And that payment of the suspended portion of the penalty should be due and payable within 30 days of the effective board order. And then the corrective actions, if they're not completed by the corrective action date specified in the board order, that the civil penalties shall be due and payable within 30 days of the board order deadline for completion of the corrective action.
Thank you. Can we get a second on that, please?
I would second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you. Right. That'll take us to item number 8 on our agenda, the enforcement hearing for HCR High Country Repair, file number M-2003-002, and a copy of the presentation form was provided to us as well. If you all want to look that up. Excuse me, let me just pull up the right documents here. Okay, thank you. If you plan to testify in this hearing, could you please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Patrick Lindbergh, and I will be representing the division in this matter. This is an enforcement hearing for the Ghost River gravel pit M-2003-002, permitted to HCR High Country Repair.
Excuse me, Patrick, do you mind switching to presentation view on your PowerPoint? We can see your notes and your next slide.
How's that?
Thank you.
Yep. The enforcement hearing is for consideration of a possible violation, cease and desist order, corrective actions, and civil penalties for failure to protect areas outside the affected land from slides or damages occurring during the mining operation. I will note that I don't believe anybody from the permittee, High Country Repair, was able to make it to the board meeting. Just a couple of minutes ago, I got an email from the permittee asking what time the board hearing was. They were sent a Zoom link inviting them to this hearing, and I don't know if they'll be able to join or not, but they were aware that when the board hearing was.
Were you able to respond to them to let them know it's right here and now?
Yes, I will.
Okay. I might recommend that we shuffle our agenda items just a little bit. I think we have a discussion item next on our agenda, and that might give the operator a few minutes to join us so that they can participate in this hearing. Is there any issue with doing that?
Madam Chair, this is Rusty. I think that's a good idea, and that was actually popped into my mind and stuff there. So yeah, maybe we can take care of some other business and stuff. Maybe that'll give them an opportunity to appear.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off there, Mr. Lundberg. But let's go ahead and do that. And then I might give them a few moments to join us so that they can be part of the discussion today. Let's go ahead and scoot to agenda item number 9, which is a happier note, the Jack Starner Reclamation Award nominations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Russ Means with the division. For your new board members and stuff, I am the Minerals Program Director. A couple of business items and stuff. Well, first, welcome from your staff. We're excited to have the new board members on, and that. One of the things and stuff that we wanted to bring to the board's attention is the division is accepting nominations for the Jack Starner Reclamation Award.
And that's sponsored by the Mine Land Reclamation Board. And we do award this annually in recognition of outstanding reclamation in the construction materials operations. And where we look for things and stuff is the collection and dissemination of information about successful reclamation techniques and community outreach. A little bit of background, this award honors the memory of Jack Starner. Mr. Starner served in the Mine Land Reclamation Board very early on in our infancy and provided valuable guidance to the industry, local government, and the environmental community in the mine land reclamation arena. The notice of nominations and stuff is on our website, and we've also sent out to the Colorado Sand and Stone Association and other stakeholders and stuff, and that the nominations and that. And we'll be accepting those through the end of October. And then a few staff members will review those, and in November, and the November hearing, it's in that we will present the winners to you as the board, and then usually in that week and stuff, the Cssga has their annual meeting, and we go down and present the awards and stuff to the winners and stuff there. So, but because we have new board members and everything else, we thought it might be advantageous to kind of toot that horn a little bit. So on to the next thing and stuff in that really quickly, giving everybody a little bit of a heads up. We are going to, at next month's meeting, we are going to be doing the orientation for our 3 new board members. But we're also going to be combining that in and doing our refresher for the current board members. I think the current board will remember and stuff that there's a requirement for annual training pursuant to section 24 3.7 also known as House Bill 181198. And we got a little bit behind with the losing 2 board members and stuff in that in March and that. So we're gonna double up on that so that we can get everybody check that box. And then our intent actually and stuff is to try to do that in January and February to get that out of the way. So we'll have probably a quick turnaround on that aspect and stuff with that this year, and that and get back on a normal track. And finally, the last thing and stuff we've been discussing and would like to get a little bit of feedback about a new feature, if you will. I've attended a couple of oil and gas meetings and a couple of state land board meetings, and their staffs and stuff have set aside time and stuff for staff talks and that. And basically what it is every month there's an hour set aside. It can be 30 minutes, and some of them may be gone a little bit longer, but staff comes in and talks to the board about different things such as processes and policies and stuff that we have and that maybe we could talk about like our notice process, how we review applications, and that. Maybe topics of interest if the board has an interest in some specific aspect of what we do as your staff in that, and you want to know how we do things better in that. It's a chance and stuff to have an open conversation about different aspects without it being tied to any kind of specific actions and stuff there, along with maybe technical briefings and that and what we're working on. And also there's the idea and stuff of providing that time and stuff possibly to stakeholders and stuff to have a discussion and stuff with the board on general items, not on specific ones. Maybe industry comes in and talks to you about some of the things that they're working on, some of the new techniques or some of the exciting things and stuff that they see in the future. And possibly, even conservation groups and stuff that could come in and have the floor for a little bit of time with you in that. And obviously, if we have a jam-packed agenda, these things and stuff can always be booted and stuff to the next time. But I would like to have some feedback if you think that that's a positive thing for us to make and stuff and that and schedule and stuff on a regular basis. So that's what I got. So.
Yeah. I personally am very excited about that. I think that would be a really great learning opportunity for everyone, and kind of a great way for staff and industry to kind of share the good work that they're doing that might be much more behind the scenes. Two kind of logistic questions. Would that hour be rolled into the regular Mineland board meeting, either, I guess, after we're done with our agenda items? And then also just from a staff capacity standpoint, you know, I know I assume that everyone's just working as hard as they possibly can. So I don't want to add any undue stress.
Those are some of the discussions and stuff that we've been having, and that, so whether it's just a standing item on the agenda, or whether we do that prior to going into business or after business or something, that way, if board members can't attend or something like that, then it's not, we're not holding up anything. We don't want to hold up the public and the board's business and stuff. And this would be kind of something, I think, at the end. So we could certainly tack it on at the end, at the close of that. That's something that Chuck and I and Mr. Fugate and stuff, we can talk about that stuff and that, get those logistics worked out.
Thank you. Any thoughts from the board?
No? Okay. That's all I had for you today. So I will let you know on the Jack Starner Awards come November. And like I said, just heads up and stuff, we're gonna have our orientation next month. And that has to be done and stuff. That we'll probably do that right off the bat, given the agenda and stuff, and that we need to have that, take care of that stuff before we move forward. But we'll notice it to everybody and stuff accordingly. So.
All right, well, thank you. I saw someone new just joined us, so I'm hopeful that that is the operator for High Country Repair. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, good morning, thank you. Wonderful. Alrighty, so let's flip back to item number 8 on the agenda. File number M-2003-002. I would, since we do have a new attendee, let's go ahead and swear in again. If you would please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth? Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Lundberg, if you want to continue with your presentation, please.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. Could we possibly mute if you're not speaking? Thank you.
There we go. My name is Patrick Lindberg, and I will be representing the division in this matter. This is an enforcement hearing for the Ghost River gravel pit M-2003-002, permitted to HCR, High Country Repair. It's an enforcement hearing for the consideration of a possible violation, cease and desist order, corrective actions and civil penalties for failure to protect areas outside the affected land from slides or damages occurring during the mining operation. The Ghost River gravel pit is located in Warfano County, approximately 4.5 miles east of the last car exit 64, east from I-25 on County Road 110. The permit is a 110 construction materials operation permitted for 9.9 acres. They mine sand and gravel there. The post-mining land use is rangeland. The existing bond is $19,112. And currently that bond is inadequate given the level of disturbance at the site right now. The surety increase, SI2, was issued on August 26, 2021 to increase the bond amount to $49,316. and that increase is due October 25th. In October 2017, as a result of a problem citation in September of 2017 for not marking the permit boundary, the permittee submitted the permit boundary map, as you see here, along with photo documentation that T-posts had been installed at the permit boundary corners. During the July 2021 inspection, the division used the coordinates provided on this map to locate the permit boundary corners in the field. This is the approved mining plan. You can see the 9.9 acre DRMS permit is inside a 30 acre conditional use permit. This is the approved reclamation plan. And on July 28th, 2021, the division performed a routine monitoring inspection. During that inspection, it was determined that there were approximately 1.8 acres were affected outside the approved permit boundary. The affected acres had overburdened stockpiles on them, and there was equipment storage outside the approved permit boundary. Other problems noted during the inspection were refuse and trash, used oil containers, and junk equipment being stored on site. This problem had been cited once before in the 2017 inspection. Additionally, 2 concrete culverts in a 55-gallon drum had been disposed of in an ephemeral drainage immediately south-southwest of the permit boundary. And it was also noted that there was no current agreement for a power line that was leading into the permit area. On August 10th, 2021, DRMS sent the operator a reason to believe a violation exists and a notice of this board hearing. It was received and signed by the permittee on August 13th, 2021. I also want to add that during the inspection, we met, it was determined that High Country Repair had contracted out to Schrammex to perform mining on their behalf. We spoke to the operator, Kevin Schrammex, and he informed the division at that time that he had not been provided copies of the mining or reclamation plans. And he stated that the permittee had indicated to him there was a much larger area available to him to continue mining. This is a Google Earth image of the permit boundary. The permit boundary is in yellow, and the division measured the affected land boundary in the field using a handheld GPS, and that boundary is in blue. Using the Orfano County online mapping tool, we were able to approximate the affected land boundary, again in blue, and this boundary at the time of this aerial image was approximately 11.3 acres. This is using the Orfano County imagery again. You can see the permit bound, you can see the affected land, and to the south, you can see the ephemeral drainage marked out in blue. Zooming to that ephemeral drainage, you can see the 2 concrete culverts that are in the drainage, as well as the approximate location of a 55-gallon drum. Also, you can tell that there's equipment storage near the ephemeral drainage. Reason for the violation. 1.8 acres have been affected outside the permit boundary. This meets the definition of affected land pursuant to Rule 1.1, Parent 3. And as part of a mining operation pursuant to Rule 1.1, Parent 30. CRS 3432.5-116, Parent 4, Parent I requires a permittee to protect areas outside the affected land from slides or damages occurring during the mining operation. Grants, conditions, and agreement 1 of permit M 2003-002 indicates the permittee is bound by all applicable requirements of the Act and all applicable rules and regulations of the board. Staff recommendations. Finding the operator in violation pursuant to CRS 3432.5-116, Parent 4, Parent I, for failure to protect areas outside the affected land from slides or damages occurring during the mining operation. The staff recommends issuing a cease and desist order prohibiting any further mining activities except those activities approved by the division in writing as necessary to comply with the conditions of the order, prevent damages to outside areas, or to protect public health and safety until the corrective actions have been resolved to the satisfaction of the division. Corrective action. Within 90 days of the effective date of the board's order, file a conversion application to include the area affected outside the approved permit boundary, with all materials in approvable form within statutory timeframes. Pursuant to CRS 34-32.5-124, Parent 7, an operator who violates any provision of a permit shall be subject to a civil penalty of not less than $100 per day, nor more than $1,000 per day for each day the land has been affected, not to exceed 365 days. In this case, there are 34 days of violation from the date of the RTB letter, August 10th, to the date of this board order, September 22nd. Civil penalties. Assess a penalty of $43,000. Suspend all but $4,300 if the operator complies with the corrective action. Any questions?
Any questions for the division at this time? Okay, thank you. I think we have a representative here from the operator, so if you could please introduce yourself, and we'd love to hear from you as well. I thought we had a representative here. Looking on my.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that name on the board anymore unless there's another one.
It looked like they jumped off. Yeah.
It's not ideal. Okay. All right. Well, let's give them just a few minutes. Maybe they're just having connection issues here. I guess I did have one question that might be a little bit more applicable to the operator, but it sounds like there's some confusion over the boundaries in general. I'm wondering if there's an issue here with the conditional use permit versus their mining permit boundary. Have you had any discussions on that, and if that might be some of the issues?
I have not had any discussions with them pertaining to that. However, the permit boundary map was this, the permit boundary map supplied in 2017 was supplied by High Country Repair.
Okay. Okay, all right, well, that's good to hear. And then I also had maybe a connection problem with you. Can you tell me again the name of the company that HCR had contracted mining out to?
It's called Tramnex.
Tramnex?
Schram, SCHRAM, Nex.
Thank you. Okay. Shoot, well, I am not seeing our operator listed here again. Have you gotten a message from them, Patrick?
I have not. I have not. I sent them the link and they were able to hop on and
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna pause here for a second and either refer to you on this, Chuck, or the division staff on how we want to move forward.
Madam Chair, this is Russ Means. I think that we can pause this and see if Patrick can get a hold of them and stuff. They've obviously lost our connection or something there. So, and that see if we can reestablish communications and stuff with them so that we can proceed with this. There is executive session and I believe someone and stuff also with a public comment. So if you want to go do the public comment first, maybe, and that we'll wait for this and then we can go from there. I think that might be the best thing and stuff to do to try to be fair. So
Yeah, that makes me more comfortable. I want to make sure they have a chance to join the discussion today.
Yep.
Okay.
Lauren, if you didn't want to break up the flow, we could always take a pause. It's up to you as the chair.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Let's do all of the above. How about we take a 10-minute break here, grab some coffee, and then I'll see everyone back here at 10:33. We'll see if we've got our operator back on to join us or not, and then we can make a plan forward there. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hi again, everyone. I'm gonna give us a few more minutes here to make sure we're all back at the computer. Okay, thanks everyone. Unfortunately, I'm still not seeing the name from the operator. Do we have any update there?
I did reach out to them and left a voicemail for the number on file and asked that they get back with me regarding whether or not they planned on joining again, if they were having technical difficulties, or if they chose not to join. And I have not heard back from them.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, sounds like you can still plan to put the pause on this hearing, and let's move into public comment. If we do have any public comment for the board this month.
Looks like we have a Dan Agar on the line, and he requested talking to the board.
Okay, Mr. Agar, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. My name is Dan Agar, and I have no questions at this time. I was just trying to understand your board workings and how you operate, and thank you very much for allowing me to do that.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for joining us today. Certainly reach out to division staff or check if you have any other questions moving forward.
Thank you very much. Not at this time.
Thank you. So I think we can move into executive session here. We do have an executive session today. I know it's kind of awkward to be breaking up our hearing like this, but I do just want to make sure that we give the operator as much time as possible to join us again. So if we could please enter executive session, we do need to say the magic words. Those are on page 182 of the agenda packet for this month. I need a board member to lead us in, please.
This is Nell Wareham. I move that the board enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing with counsel disputes that are the subject of pending or imminent court action, discussing specific claims or grievances, receiving legal advice on specific legal questions, and discussing matters required to be kept confidential pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes, Section 24-6-402, Parent 3, Parent A, Parent 2, including Fontenary versus MLRB 2021 CA 941, and Fontenary v. MLRB 2020 CV 34098.
Thank you. Could I please have a second to move into executive?
I saw Mr. Means say something, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I just want to be aware and stuff that a member of the public is still on our feed and stuff here. So we need to ask Mr. Edgar and stuff to excuse himself because I think everybody else and stuff is okay.
We can do that when we once it passes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So can I get a second here to enter executive?
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, let us enter into executive session. I think there's some fancy footwork that Cami does here to get us all into executive and turn off YouTube for just a second.
Yep. Mr. Agar, can you please go ahead and hang up right now?
Yes.
Thank you.